With the recent confirmation of the Gold Hoarder returning after his defeat and Flameheart's growing aggression on the seas, it seems like Rare is setting up the game for a battle royale of epic proportions. Will we see the ultimate showdown between the Skeleton Lords and Ashen Lords in the coming months? Let's take a look at the evidence. Recently it was confirmed by Mike Chapman, creative lead on Sea of Thieves, that the Gold Hoarder has returned through mysterious means. This was hinted at by Ramsey after the Shores of Gold Tall Tales, where he said he expected to see the Gold Hoarder return one way or another. What I find strange is that we're currently in the beginnings of the Flameheart arc, and would be strange to announce this when we already are facing the biggest baddie on the seas already, unless he ties directly into the current narrative, and there is much more evidence for this. Take the Vaults of the Ancients for example. The whole lore surrounding it is that the Gold Hoarders have begun to stash their gold for safekeeping, as their leader has disappeared. But why now? Why not do this immediately after his defeat way back after Anniversary? It has been well over a year, and that must equate to a long time in lore time. Surely there have always been greedy pirates looking to pillage the Gold Hoarder's treasure for themselves in the last year, so why now? Since November, Flameheart's return, he has slowly been growing in power, waging a war on the seas on multiple fronts. He began by recruiting Stitcher Jim to his cause, using the Masked Stranger as a seductress. He succeeded in turning Jim into an Ashen Lord and sealing the crew of the Black Witch in a chest of rage. It seemed like doing this allowed him some access to the Sea of the Damned, an unlimited supply of ghostly vessels and limited use of his flagship, the Burning Blade. Soon after, he had his skeletal army summon his 4 lieutenants, Warden Chi, Old Horatio, Red Roof, and Captain Grimm. Flameheart's dominion has expanded to both the seas and land, and that second one is most important, land. Having his forces become a threat on the islands now put the Gold Hoarder's treasure at risk, and we know Flameheart needs this cursed gold as some form of tribute, as evidenced by the Masked Stranger paying handsome sums of gold for any tributes. And what else has caused the increased threat? The emissary system. The emissary system does apply to all trading companies, aside from the Hunter's Call, but the Reaper's Bones are especially deadly now. A level 5 emissary grants the ability to see all other emissaries on the map, including the Gold Hoarder's most loyal. It would seem the Gold Hoarders need their treasure, and most importantly their Chest of the Ancients, as this must be linked to the Gold Hoarder's power. It is therefore my theory that the Gold Hoarders do know that their master has returned, and are attempting to get these chests back to reinstate his power. This works both ways too, as handing in the key or chest makes no odd to them, as they will still have secured their chests and stopped the Reapers from claiming them. We know very little of Flameheart Sr., but we do know this. He was a Skeleton Lord before his death, we know he was one of the most feared antagonists on the seas, and we know he had a son who shared a similar fate. What we also chiefly know is that he was betrayed, as he describes as his own kind. This detail is important, as we know it was a Skeleton Lord who betrayed him, or possible multiple Skeleton Lords. There are a few candidates for this, one being a figure known as the Captain. The Captain was an original captain of the Burning Blade, who tells Flameheart Jr. he was marooned on an island by his father. This is strange, as the Captain emphasises that he was betrayed by Senior, but Flameheart was also betrayed by, supposedly, the Captain. Unless this is some sort of plot where they both feel betrayed by another, it's a bit messy. Could it be that Flameheart was betrayed by the Gold Hoarder? Maybe he was the Skeleton Lord that betrayed him. It's possible. We know Rathbone, before he became a Skeleton Lord, was in the business of betrayal, as he had already done so to the Pirate Lord himself. So it's not so far-fetched to believe that. And if Flameheart is inclined to take the seas for himself, it would make sense that he would usurp his own captain. Not to mention, we know Rathbone was a crewmate on the Magpie's wing. Rathbone's betrayal occurs before the Magpie wing's destruction at the hand of the Burning Blade, which was most likely already cursed, as the journal describes the cannons as infernal, similar to the Ashen Dragon. So, the Gold Hoarder would have become a Skeleton Lord before Flameheart. Then, in comes Stitcher Jim. We know he poisoned the Forsaken Alliance for the Gold Hoarder, as he knew they had access to the Shroudbreaker and risked discovering Tribute P. After the player defeats the Gold Hoarder, Stitcher Jim is left with no master. He was marooned in the Devil's Roar, only to be rescued by the Masked Stranger, who he became infatuated with. But why Stitcher Jim? Jim isn't the most powerful or even dangerous pirate. Why make him an Ashen Lord, where he's known for his treachery and not his prowess in battle, like the other 4 or Flameheart? Flameheart did this because of Jim's relationship with the Gold Hoarder. Jim was close enough to him to receive special missions, even as far as assassinations. Flameheart wants Jim for his information and a possible way to finally destroy the Gold Hoarder for good. Maybe if Flameheart was betrayed by the Gold Hoarder, he knows how to seal him away again. It was recently announced that one of the weekly events happening every Friday is that the Gold Hoarders will be given bonus gold for any loot turned in on Friday, but Reapers will also be given extra gold for specifically Gold Hoarder emissary flags. The event is simply titled Gold Hoarders vs Reapers Bones, and the rewards and stakes are increasing each week. This seems to be building up to a crescendo, culminating in some sort of tall tale or player-led event where players have to choose which big bad to back. Or is it really a battle of good versus evil? The tweet specifically mentions that the Gold Hoarder is returned through unknown means, but serves a greater lord than himself. Let's break this down. The Lord part can refer to 3 things: an Ashen Lord, a Skeleton Lord, or maybe even a Pirate Lord? This is where the theory gets crazy. It cannot be an Ashen Lord, as Flameheart isn't a sharing type. The other possibility is the Captain, who we know is a Skeleton Lord and was feared on the seas. But is he really that great? It does fit in with the conquest of the seas narrative though. It could possibly make sense if he were trying to take revenge on Flameheart. The other more likely candidate is Flameheart Jr., who is also a Skeleton Lord. I can't see him being the conquest type, as he was a kind and docile person before he transformed into a Skeleton Lord, but could have been corrupted by the Captain. The thing that stands out though is great. Not great as in powerful, but great as in famed and good. Could it be the Pirate Lord has revived the Gold Hoarder in some sort of uneasy alliance? We know Ramsey is not a vengeful man, as he had the option to destroy Rathbone with the Athena's Fortune alliance in tow, but left him to his greed and misery as a punishment. We know Ramsey has some sort of connection with the Sea of the Damned, so it's possible he brought the Gold Hoarder back through that. And he has been incredibly quiet regarding the whole Flameheart thing, and doesn't even seem to realise it's happening. It's possible he's been pulling the strings behind the scenes in an effort to stop Flameheart. Of course, it could be any one of those 3. I personally lean toward the Captain, definitely sounds like the Conquest type, but Ramsey would be a great twist. Or could it be the mysterious Reaper pulling the strings again, who may have been influencing both good and evil this entire time? Only time will tell. I hope you enjoyed this little speculation video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for more lore. We're going to be looking at the Reaper next week and how it ties into the Sea of Thieves, so look out for that. Thanks again for watching.